Mardi Gras! And welcome to another episode of Tales from the Parade Route. Tonight we have the very special honor of interviewing with one of the newest crews of the dance world, the Mystic Order of the Crescent Crinum. Is that correct?
Order of the Crescent Crinum.
Order of the Crescent Crinum.
We're not mystic yet.
Well,
I would have been.
So, welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
So, tell us a little bit, I guess, about the origins. How did the crew come to be?
So we danced together in a different group and realized that we genuinely liked each other and we really liked riffing off of each other's creativity, and so we wanted to start our own thing with our own vision and have full creative control over what we were doing, and so that is how Order of the Crescent Crinum became a thing. And then it just started to grow, which was surprising, even though we didn't have our first performance until last weekend. So it was exciting to get like double our size before even doing anything. So yeah.
Yeah, it's been sort of we don't have extensive dance backgrounds, and so we wanted it to make it an opportunity for people who are like us that don't have extensive dance backgrounds to be able to come together and have rehearsals and creative spaces that they felt comfortable in dancing. And so we don't have the jazz background. We don't have the hip hop background that sometimes people would associate with dance crews. Most of our background, you have a ballet. Mm-hmm. But what did we say? Did you start dancing as an adult?
I danced as a kid and quit halfway through high school.
Okay. I was a lazy kid, so I didn't do anything. So I started dancing as an adult and have most of my experience in fighting techniques like capoeira and kickboxing, but also contemporary and modern and folklore, specifically like Brazilian folkloric and some South American, Central American folkloric stuff. But so that's where we're coming from. So we're hoping that makes us stand out a little, and we're hoping that the idea behind why we made a crew, it makes us really fun to join, because there's no point in doing it if it's not everybody's having fun, if it's like a hierarchy.
Right.
The natural hierarchies happen, but we want everybody to feel like they're part of this crew. So so far we've been successful, but we're still small.
Yeah. Everyone who wants to have a leadership role is able to take one. So people are allowed to be as involved as they want to be or not want to be. So there are no like rigid, hardcore guidelines on who does what.
But we're pretty demanding with rehearsals. We rehearse right now. We rehearse 2 times a week, and right now it is Thursdays and Sundays. With Zoni Mash at Zoni Mash, who's very generously letting us use their space. But that's part of it, is like you need to show up for at least one of those 2 every week, unless you have a really good excuse, because the idea is that these aren't people with a dance background necessarily, and so you need that much time to get comfortable, to build that camaraderie, to learn the choreography and feel comfortable in it. These aren't people who are like, yeah, I can pick it up, no problem, really quickly. I know the choreography, I've got it. This is really like us growing together and sort of developing together, so that's kind of creating this sort of bond amongst the dancers too. That's really important.
So is the goal then to be like a kind of lockstep sort of, I don't want to say military style, but like a rigid dance crew where you're all, in sync, or is it more free form? I don't know, we can go with this.
Both, a little bit of both.
Okay.
She's the we have Merce Cunningham of the group that's demanding.
Well, you have to have two. Like you have to have both sides of the point. Like you need someone that like is like actually it's on the left foot, and then you need someone that's like don't overthink it. Make sure you're having fun and putting yourself into it. But we do have choreography, but we take time to also have like moments where people can freestyle, moments where like we are fully aware that this part will never ever be in sync, and that's fine. So I pick my battles.
Yeah. These aren't professional dancers.
Yeah.
It's sort of like Lucha Crew is in that sort of realm where they're all together and then they all,
Yeah, there's definitely little improv moments. There's like improv games that I play sometimes at rehearsals, and it gets really boring to rehearse the same thing over and over and over again. So we'll do improv games where, you do a move. Okay, now everybody has to mimic that move. Okay, now let's play telephone and go around the circle and like you do a move. Okay, now we'll do the first move and the second move. and then the third move, and then it so on around. So everybody has some sort of like creativity, because so much of it is being vulnerable. If you don't come from a dance or a theater background, like making yourself look foolish in front of people is a really vulnerable place for people.
I
And
did that every time I did.
you know, some people love it. Some people are naturals at it. But it's to make that safe space for people that they can do that and feel like, oh, this is something coming out of my body that I made up is really important. So yeah, I'm the like wishy-washy one that's like a little like, that's beautiful the way you did it because that's your body and that's how your body wants to do it. And she's the one that's like
but it's not on the right count.
Yeah, it's not on the count. We do have to
do it on the two.
Yeah. It was also funny because like so many of us in the group because we don't have dance backgrounds, are really bad at the counts version of teaching dance and learning dance. And so I was watching this thing on the blood drive performances, and so many dancers who are not in that background are like, you can see them mouthing the words, the lyrics, and that's what they learn to dance off of. Is like, so it's we make it available for. We always often say like, for those of you who know how to count, well, it's this, and those of you who just do it to the lyrics is this, and if you do it to the rhythm, it's bop it up, beep bop bop. Like,
it's just going to be fun because a lot of the music we use is international. So I think most people in our group don't know Ukrainian.
Right, but we just make up what they're saying. We're just like, it's the part where she goes, look at you do the bad. Like,
direct quote.
Or whatever. And yeah, people get it. People know what that part is.
It seems to be going well. People, like she said, most of them, basically all of them don't have dance background, and I'm really proud of how quickly, I'm really proud of how quickly they've been picking it up and how, like, good it's been going.
Yeah.
So
it really isn't how much people will commit to something. It really is like, it shows the power of like people's commitment to something.
Well, how long have you been formed and how many members do you have now?
So we've been Order of the Crescent Crinum since like March?
I don't know. That's why I was gonna let you answer it.
I'm like, I don't know. I think it was around March. I think we started. We didn't start rehearsing until May.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't start rehearsing until May, so I'm even more proud of us.
I think we decided to do it. When did we decide to do it? In January?
Yeah, we decided in January that we were just gonna create our own thing, and then we had a pool party meeting with, with everyone who was coming with us from the original group, and then we started rehearsing.
And a couple of new people.
No, we didn't have enough
The
group.
pool party? Oh, the first pool party.
Yeah, and then we had the first pool party.
And then,
we had an info session for people who are interested and wanted to learn and like get some of their own input, and then I think we started rehearsing it in late April, early May.
Yeah. So that's kind of why it was that's why it was 2 times a week. And we had learned previously that like you got to ask that commitment of people because
once a week isn't, because people go out of town or like
Well, especially as a new crew, I could see that, like you say, like get everybody, you know, a little camaraderie.
And we had people come and go. I mean, I think at one point we had 18 people, and I think about 5 of them have kind of like disappeared into the ether.
One of them's been abroad for over a month. One of them's in LA for a long time. Like another's, but like they're gonna come back
put
and
together a crew for this weekend, huh?
Huh?
You managed to put together
Yeah, we
crew
had
for this weekend.
we had initially 10 people, and then two couldn't come.
Yeah, we initially had 10. 2 very last minute couldn't come, but wish they were there, and that was the performance group. And I think we have around 14 people that are solid,
16.
active. 14 to 16.
Yeah, and some people choose not to be in parades, and some people do want to do. Some people don't want to do a performance, but they want to do a parade.
Yeah.
So
and we started with 7, so we doubled before even ever performing.
You
And then
want to
the blood
spill
drive.
beans on who you come from, or
No.
yeah,
I'll find out after.
yeah. We don't want to cause any death.
Not bad. I didn't know.
Yeah.
It was just we started dancing together in another crew, and it just didn't work out. And we were like, let's just break away and do our own thing. And you had the idea to do your own thing. I probably wouldn't have done it. I probably been like, yep, that was my time in a dance crew. Bye. So it's good that you have people in your life that are like, no, we can do this.
I mean, why couldn't we?
I don't know.
I mean, it's been going well.
So how did y'all come up with your name? I know what a crinum is. That it's a lily that, if you imagine a banana peel, or a banana that's being peeled.
Yeah.
That's what a crinum looks like.
Yeah. So we were tossing around names, And I was like, I really want it to be, I want it to sound like a secret society, because that's kind of our whole aesthetic is like dark, witchy, kind of gothy, but not, it means a lot of things to a lot of people to be this like dark gothy, whatever. So I knew I wanted it to sound secret society, and then I forgot how I found the flower. I don't remember how I found the flower. Did I? I think I did.
I think Jackie did.
Oh, it might have been Jackie.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was like it's a saltwater flower that grows in the swamp.
Yeah, it thrives in salty environments.
Yeah.
And you like basically can't kill it.
Yeah.
So it seemed to fit for us.
Yeah. You can't.
You can't kill us.
I noticed y'all's costumes over the weekend that a lot of people at the blood drive, they were like, oh, I really like because a lot of them I guess didn't catch what y'all's name was, so like I really like that goth looking group.
Yeah.
That y'all's costumes do have that dark, that witchy feel to it.
Yeah, and it's very important that we don't do all the same costume too. It was kind of one of the things that I like to hold on to is that people's self-interpretation and self-expression of a theme is important. Freedom of creativity during Mardi Gras, like that's an important Mardi Gras tradition to me. We're not looking to make a uniform, but we need that cohesiveness.
Yes.
And so we kind of just decided black, but we haven't done anything in the summer yet. So we'll see how that goes. Because it also, as long as it's goth and you're all kind of wearing the same color, like whether that be gray or, white can be very creepy and witchy too. Like, as long as it has that aesthetic and you're all somewhat cohesive, I think that's the goal of it. But it's not to ever have a uniform that's like, everybody buy this corsets, or some version of this corset, everybody buy this, some version of this.
Everybody buy corset 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
That
works for certain groups.
BYX and
I think a lot of the cool creativity that people can bring to the table comes out of not making a uniform for people, and so that's kind of and it's also like cost prohibitive for some people, and some people don't, it's like if you look at a bridal party, there's always the people who like don't want their arms showing, and then other people don't want their legs. It's always like what people are comfortable in is what they're going to dance best in, and so just let them do that. So that's our aesthetic, is to not have a uniform, but to keep it darky gothy with spooky spooky, as I like to say.
The one that has the little candles.
That was me.
That was you?
Yeah.
You put me in the eye.
So, well, watch where your eye goes. I had them lit so people could see them. No, that was something I used to do.
I was standing behind you when people were performing. You kind of went like,
I got really wrapped up into it. Yeah, I used to do that with real candles when I went to goth clubs in college.
Yeah.
And I have a scar in the middle of my hair part that where the hot wax fell on, that doesn't have grow hair. So I have a little tiny baby bald spot from it. But yeah, it was and I hadn't done it since then. I was like, oh, maybe I'll do that for this. And so, it was fun to bring that back. And I'm glad that technology exists now to do it with battery operated remote controls.
Yeah. It looked really cool.
Thanks. Yeah, I had a few people come up and say they were going to steal the idea for Halloween. So if you see it at Halloween, you know where it came from.
put that away.
So before the show, not to be the gossip guy, but I heard y'all talking about this coming weekend or the following weekend?
Oh, for Midsummer.
Midsummer?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were saying like some hot. You were still saying hot tea.
No.
Hot dolls. I was like, what did we say? No, we're happy to talk about that.
Yes, we're very excited to be in Midsummer. I think it's kind of funny how we got in. Like, it was kind of through this tree of like friends of friends of friends of friends sending us paperwork and where to send money, because like getting a response wasn't really happening. And I was like, we are getting in this parade, they're not gonna let us not perform in this. So I like sent all the forms, sent the money. It's like, okay, we're just showing up.
Yeah.
But then they did get back to us. So.
And then we all bought Chewbacca's membership, so we're gonna be in Chewbacca's.
Yes.
We're trying to figure out how to pair with somebody that we're not stuck way in the back. And then one of our members is in Skin and Bones, the drum group.
Right.
And they would like us to, it sounds like it's going to happen, to choreograph. They're going to do a Beetlejuice thing for Crew Boo. So we're going to dance for their drumming
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So we got to make that up in like the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And teach everybody, which is not. It's Annie Elfman is not easy to like.
No, it's
Only
actually-
play percussion too, which so they're trying to figure out how to get the melodic part of that Beetlejuice songs, and then they're doing "Jump in the Line" by. I hope I'm not like ruining the big surprise, but they're doing "Jump in the Line" by Harry Belafonte. So those are both songs that people will know really well, but they're a lot of fun to dance to. But I told people we're not doing cruise choreography. I was like, there's gonna be no conga lines. We'll find something. We'll have a twinge of something like that, but it'll be us. It'll be very us.
Yeah, because we want to keep the choreography kind of on the like weirder, more different wavelength. Like our choreography
Unpredictable
is
a little.
it's different. It's not standard sort of things, and we want to kind of keep it inventive and keep it weird. I think that's just our kind of whole deal. Keep it weird.
The choreography that we're going to be doing in Midsummer, CEO, is a song that is a song that we're going to do that. So that choreography came from, this is how I got involved, with my friend Greg, who is a contemporary dancer who I met through Dancing Grounds on St. Claude in New Orleans. He's a choreographer that comes from CalArts, and he worked in Access, which is a group out of California that works with people with disabilities. And so for him, it was really important, we're hoping to build our group into this kind of thing that it's not just for women, it's not just for women of this certain age. There's those groups that it's needed. You look at the Amelia Earharts and you're like, I understand why they exist. Like, that makes sense because there wasn't a place for those women that they felt comfortable. But we want to do a group that's like trans, men, women, no matter how old you are, as long as you're not a minor. Two kids, the only one. But it's a really welcoming for everybody. And that was sort of his ethos and aesthetic. But the dance that he did, he comes from this contemporary world that is not made for parades. So that is one of our growing pains, is figuring out how to keep that aesthetic of weird contemporary influenced from these different corners of the world dance that is also parade ready. That is not like
parade friendly. Right,
it's not. There's a reason that people fall into that, because that stuff is very parade ready. That's your style of dance, and so it's a challenge.
Keeping it different. We want to keep it like challenging choreography as well, just to like give ourselves that sort of challenge. But again, parading with hardcore dancing, like really intense, exhausting things. Difficult.
And we, luckily there's members in the group that have done parades before that say, okay, you have to be ready for like when it slows down and when it races up and when like you have to kind of drop things when you have to move really quickly, like just forget that part and just run to make it up to the next part. Like, so there's people who have that background that are like, we can't do this on the street.
To have people that are very, very seasoned dance troupe people, because they'll be like, okay, these are all the things you need for your logistics, this is gonna work, this is not gonna work, we've tried this and it failed, like, so don't try it, like that kind of thing. So we have a very good support system within our group.
New Orleans is great like that.
Like we were figuring it out on our own.
New Orleans is great for that, because it's just people, there's dance crew infidelity people who are in like several swingers that are in several groups who like crossbreed, and my group's in this, and I can lend you that. We have one member especially that lends us like equipment all the time. So we're lucky, and it's lucky that there's that community. I think that's very essentially what Mardi Gras is about and what crews are about, and these old school ideas of fraternity and sorority and like social aid and pleasure club, benevolent society, mutual aid societies, like people getting together, supporting each other, and creating these like social groups that we don't have as much anymore. Our families don't live by us anymore. Like these are these meeting spaces for friends that like every now and as we go through time, like they disappear. So
what I've noticed, over the last several years with all the kind of new school dance troupes and all, was back in the day, it was all marching bands. And there was like a friendly competition between each other, and if they can kind of poke each other, they would. I mean, it was a friendly competition, but they were serious about it, right? But all these new crews, they all work together. It's amazing to me. Like, they're all.
I think it's not being a musician. There's something about musician ego that's a little.
It was the pride of the school, sort of.
The
same as like rooting for your football team,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of the crews being female run. Tends to be more like women tend to just like help back each other up. I mean, that's a controversial statement, but I think that women at the heart of
We want to
organizationally,
support each other.
yeah, I think a lot more than we are
Just in
like
general, I
sabotaging
see
each other.
all of them
Yeah.
get together. I mean, this weekend was a perfect example.
Yeah.
Where, but you know, you go to any of their balls, you'll see 20 other groups. That
Yeah, it's good. It's important to have that sort of support system. But to have, it would be nice to have that sort of fun idea of competition, like that kind of like
I mean,
cutesy competition. But there's enough of it. I think in our, when I was growing up here, I don't remember any of these dance groups except the ones that were like dance schools, from like Metairie or
That's
whatever.
what I call them, like new school. I mean, I kind of
Yeah,
remember.
they are very new
like,
school.
610 kind of doing it. There was a couple of small ones before that, but when 610 did it, it kind of blew up.
Yeah.
And then with Chewbacca's and all, and it just,
Yeah.
there's countless. So,
That's the great thing about New Orleans. It's just full of people who have very niche interests that are really creative. I mean, it's what people do when you allow them to be creative. Like if you have a space for, I do tours, and so I talk to people about stuff like this all the time, where it's like, they live in Maryland or whatever, and I was like, I mean, half the people like in Funky Uptown crew, like one of them is a vet, and she makes the most beautiful records, and it's just like when you're giving people space to be creative, they're going to be creative. And some of them are like that's not their forte, but that's also because they haven't done it a lot, and they feel like, oh, I can't draw like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like there's all of these opportunities. The reason these groups exploded post Katrina is there's all of these opportunities for people to find their tribe. So
it's the old saying, there's a place for everybody in Mardi Gras. You have to find your place.
Yeah. I don't remember these dance crews growing up, and then I just remember.
No, I mean,
remember the Pussyfooters kind of being really
I mean,
early
you
to
can
the
look
game.
at like the Gold Dusters and all were sort of an adult sort of dance group, but they weren't.
Yeah.
That's more of a dance school than.
Yeah, there was dance
I guess,
schools.
than social club.
Yeah, and it's definitely the tradition of the baby dolls and all of those groups, the social aid and pleasure clubs that and benevolent societies that started as like little sorority groups or fraternal groups of people. And it's just expanded on that tradition. I mean, yeah.
So have y'all been able to get into? I hear you. That's 3 parades you're going to be in. Do you have any plans for any others this year?
Well, there's Chewbacca's, there's Boo, and there's Midsummer.
Yeah. Those are the only ones we like more or less officially have plans for. We've had conversations about trying to get into others. We have a list of like people to contact that we're kind of just trying to bug and see what we can get into. Seems very much all about who you know. Which is someone who's not from here. It's
well, if you're contacting the parade, they're going to want to know that you have a solid.
Yeah, you're not just going to
number
show up and
group,
do whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the more we're in stuff, that the more we can prove that we're legit.
Exactly. Now we have like videos of it, and people are starting to like learn that we exist. So
Yeah, and
trying to
it's,
like
not,
roll
it's
with
just
this
a network
momentum.
of people. It's, I grew up here, but nobody in my family ever rode in cruise, so it's funny because it's like I feel like I'm out of that league of like
I'm
New
taking
Orleans.
my official first uptown ride this year.
Who are you riding with?
Carrollton.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I'll tell you the story after, but like I kind of DJ'd off Blitz a few times, but never actually rode. So
Yeah.
as much as I'm into Mardi Gras, it's kind of surprising even to myself that this
Well,
was my first ride.
It's become one of those financially. It's an
It
investment,
is.
and certain people can make that investment, and certain. But that's why for Mardi Gras Day, I really love the like truck parades because those are for everybody. I mean, those are less financially restrictive to be part of the like Elks truck parades and things like that, and it's really in that spirit of like Mardi Gras is for everybody. We both ride in the Uptown crew.
Oh, do you?
Which is my first crew that I ever got to join. So I'm friends with Craig, who runs that crew or founded that crew with his friend Kelly, and his wife Michelle and her husband Lou. They played kickball. When I first moved back to New Orleans, I did a pickup kickball game. And I met a bunch of neighbors that would just come out, and we would like you did in grammar school, where you would like pick your teams, and then we'd play, and then we'd go drink beer, and then I'd be like, okay, I'll see you next week.
Like grammar school.
Yeah, literally, like no pressure. No, we didn't. I always joke that like people like love to ruin fun with order, and I'm like, we don't have uniforms. We don't. We're not doing any of that. So that was my first chance that I got to ride in something, was because he started that on a whim and coincidentally got a reservation on the same night at Funny 40 Fellows. Completely by accident.
So we're right by, what's the name of that place?
Madigan's.
They're closed now, but that's where we'll be.
Okay.
So, if you can have our record ready.
Where's that?
What's the name of that?
It's on Carrollton, right by,
It's in the very beginning.
yeah.
That part is right where it turns, right? That part is
It's,
really,
yeah, it's like,
dense.
it's just before, Amelia Grove.
Yeah, that part gets dense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of chills out towards the middle. So,
Yeah.
but that's a really fun section. And then it's just been, that's been a great experience. We started Blu-ray. They put money back into, like, they hire the bands every year. They pay Blu-ray a bunch of money to, like, host our party. They pay Pat Harry's a bunch of money after host our, like, watching the little bit of dues that we are able to contribute pays for like everything. I'm like, it doesn't need to be expensive necessarily. Like it depends. I mean, we were riding a streetcar. We don't have cops to pay and everything else and like cleanup. But there's a way to do things that I think keeps Mardi Gras accessible for everybody to be part of.
Yeah.
And some people just don't want to. I mean, people being happy being in a crowd.
Let it go. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I'd like to ride it. I mean, we went to 55 parades last year.
Yeah.
And a few balls. I went to 3 balls beyond that. And I don't know what else. It felt like it was a whirlwind last year.
Yeah.
But I mean, some people just like to go experience 1 or 2 parades.
Yeah,
So that's
no, for sure. And I mean, you have your float parades and you have things like sub-crew parades of like the Chewbacca sort of mode of things where it's all about getting with your people and like building everything and cosplaying all the costumes and all of this like money and time and investment and adventure or an inventiveness. Like, how do we make horse legs that work? Like, it's all like.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I am like, can I borrow your top and some pants?
I feel like you haven't bought any costumes for
No,
any
I don't like storing stuff. And it's funny because I went to art school, so you'd think I would be that person, but I'm just like, I don't like having things.
I'm the opposite. No one could ever accuse me of being a minimalist.
Oh yeah, I'm just like, I have 3 costumes that I just reroute and use. Like I made one bin and I was like, oh, no, I have more than 3. I have a lot, but they're all Halloween.
Well, I mean, nothing for us.
Ironic.
So how can people join y'all?
Find us on Instagram, Order of the Crescent Crinum, and just send us a message. We open rolling admission. Anyone can join, no audition or anything. Just hit us up and we'll tell you where and when.
Yeah, so Order of the Crescent is obvious how to spell, but Crinum.
Crinum.
Yeah. So we have the Instagram. We rehearse twice a week. Had a few people. She's already had a few people write that saw us at the blood drive that said they are interested. And then come to rehearsal, kind of see how it's run, and then just decide if it's like for them or not. And then it's just commitment. It's just you got to show up and learn the dances because other people are relying on you. And yeah, I think once people, it snowballs. Like once people are like showing up to learn the dances, then they're like, okay, I'm gonna go get a cart. I'm gonna get us together for the parade. I'm gonna be the driver for that. Like people have like taken on little roles here and there.
It's very crowdsourced, which is very helpful because like 2 people can't run the entire thing. It's just,
I'm not no interest in the downfall of so many other Mardi Gras things is just power being dispersed in small places and not the sort of democracy of it.
I do not
You laugh a little. You know what I'm talking about. And we have no interest in that.
I don't want to do the things.
No.
Like if someone feels very, very strongly about costumes, like cool.
Yeah.
Like there are certain things that I'm not good at and I don't like are not hills I'm gonna die on. So
Yeah.
we really want things to be collaborative.
I've never wanted a board position or anything like that, or be king. It's not me.
No, it's better. Gumbo is better with a lot of spices in the pot. Now the spices gotta go together. You better be ready to make your argument about why you're putting your spice in the pot if people don't want that spice in the pot.
Right.
Everybody's like, that spice is not gonna work. And I'm like, maybe this is this time. Maybe you just step back for a second and say, okay,
Mine's to the point that like I ride an Excalibur and everything also. So I've been trying to get my captain to make that one that just says peasant.
Yeah.
Because they all have like king and all that. I just want
Just
peasant.
peasants. We also have a need for people who don't want to dance but love being part of a parade and love the concept and being part of the group. We're calling them familiars right now. I think that'll probably stick, but they're like our assistants.
Yeah, like
you
our
know,
volunteer like
they're-
support.
Yeah, they're support team
Yeah.
because you gotta have those
Familiars
folks.
for witchiness.
Yeah, from what we do in the shadows.
Well, it's also just like a common witchy thing.
Yeah. What's the thing from Harry Potter? Horcrux, never mind. That's something else. That's something else. That's something else. So our theme, I wanted to mention our theme for Boo, and somewhat for Midsummer. Some people have started getting their shit together. Sorry. Some people have started getting their things together for their performances, for leading up. So our theme for this coming year is the tarot. So everybody was able to pick a tarot card. If they really felt attached to doing one that somebody else was doing, we didn't, tell them they couldn't. So everybody's got their kind of tarot, and that they're designing their own costume based on that tarot, and then having cards that we can then hand out saying who are. So I'm committing it now. I'm going to be the Hanged Man, which is a very complicated costume to pull off because I do Ariel, but I can't hang upside down without something to hang off of. Unless someone wants to push me along.
I mean, Chewbacca is a little
We can get Crew of Ass to help us out. Who do the aerial pull? Yeah, they're in my aerial pull circuit of people. But I'm going with the
whole circuit of people.
Yeah, I do. Well, they train at Awakenings on Canal Street with me. Where I also take classes. So that's kind of how I even thought of doing Chewbacca. So I was like, I know these people. Maybe it was them. But we'll see. And then one of our familiars, Leslie and Steve, Leslie's in Crew of Ass. So it's all that like
interconnected.
Everyone's interconnected. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna be a possum. And I'm handing out a card with a little opossum on it. That's the Hanged Man. So it's open to interpretation, baby.
Interpretation.
And it's like his whole thing is like when he wears red and blue. So if we're sticking to black, I can't really do that. I'm in that. I got the fucking members that are down and leave it at hard players that are like a lot of house that this like Victorian goth vampire sort of vibe for it. But yeah, most of my work for the one I was she had a crown for me on probably the paper. I'm worried that we're going to away.
I think it's only something to look at and they're real honest. Oh, it's a Crescent Crinum card or
So the kind of way that most people, I should have not really not but yeah, so that's looking at prices, like getting prices do that every time, 100 times. But then
It's cheaper for me to just throw dollars off the floor.
yeah, no, it's crazy.
Literally.
Like, it really.
The amount of money that,
Well, for a crew, uptown crew, I asked my neighbors, like, do you have stuff in your attic that you don't want anymore? And so a lot of stuff comes from just donated.
I have a bunch of
reused.
45s if you want.
Oh, I do, very much. The 45s are a big hit. The little ones are.
Yeah.
yeah, they're easy to decorate.
Yeah, we just found. I think we were buying them from local record stores. So there was one from I don't know this record store, White Roach, that was
Yeah.
going to give us a deal, and then it wasn't Peaches, but it was another one was giving him another deal. So yeah, I mean, right, vinyl is one of those things that there's a lot of bad vinyl out there
Oh, yeah.
that like
Yeah.
nobody wants anymore. It's a scratched up
This
vinyl.
was
And this
decent
is like a
stuff.
great way to.
This was decent stuff that went underwater for Katrina. I haven't had the heart to get rid of it.
Right.
But
It gives it a
it's
second life.
unusable.
Yeah,
but
it's
it could
the
be
It
used
gives
for
it
that.
to the Mardi Gras,
Yeah.
it's the world.
Which to me is a good bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, even still, I know several people that are big vinyl collectors, just regular records that, they're going to, Red, White, and Blue or Goodwill or whatever.
Yeah.
And, it feels like I'm seeing them even paying more and more
They're
for
ridiculous.
records, even
Yeah.
when it's
Someone who buys
a 20-year-old, what you and I may consider to be a crappy record.
All the
to
thrift stores
them,
are like that now.
yeah.
All the thrift stores have gone up in price. That's the hard part about Mardi Gras costuming, and like all of my costumes come from thrift stores that I have repurposed, like bed sheets into dresses and stuff like that. But sometimes they're just actual pieces of clothing, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, how much do you want for this? Like, that's yeah. And with the fact that we don't have more fabric stores in New Orleans is also completely mind-numbing to me. That like it's hard to get fabric here to
The
make
good Mardi
costumes.
Gras fabric store was that one, that turn, what's the name
Of Jefferson Variety.
Is it still there?
Yeah, as far as I
I
know.
thought they
The
did.
whole
I thought they
back
were in
room.
rows. I didn't know they
The
were.
whole back room is
Okay.
fabulous.
Okay. They gotta make this possum costume.
Yeah.
You got a week and a
They're
half.
not bad. I've
It's
bought
just
some.
felt. Okay.
They're not bad. I've bought some
Yeah, it was like
It's
shocking to me that we didn't have like
unusual
a fabric.
fabrics that you're not going to find.
Yeah.
So, might work for you.
Not possum costume. So excited.
So I really enjoyed, hearing about y'all's crew. I'm excited now to see as y'all hit the parade route. Unfortunately, right as we were getting to the blood drive this weekend, y'all were wrapping up your dance. So I basically got to see, ta-da!
The ending that was the vow that we all came up with.
So we're going to need a little performance before y'all get it.
I'll send you the video.
There you go. You can use a clip of that.
that.
We did, for those that weren't there, we did the Wednesday Addams dance from the Wednesday Addams TV show. A little bit of freedom of creativity with it.
Yeah, we
Creative license, that's what I'm
yes,
looking for.
creative license.
But we reformed it so that it's for the stage, but we have it for a parade formation that we're going to be doing. So we'll be doing it at Midsummer. And we'll be doing CEO, the other song at Midsummer. And then we have one other song that's all improv until like one very
One tiny
fun,
little
like,
bit, yeah.
rev up the crown
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Which is always the great thing to do at a parade.
Yeah.
Is to interact with everybody and like get them hyped and have a dance party. Which is very Midsummer because it's like a block party for anybody that's ever been.
It's tight quarters.
Yeah. Told you.
I've been to Midsummer.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay. Yeah, we were talking about just like oh, we want people to,
Logistics.
and I was like, it's not going to work. Everybody's going to be like,
Well, you tell people to move their cars. So I see like these people.
I was wondering, I couldn't remember. Do they park on Oak Street? Do they allow, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think if people know they moved it.
Yeah.
There's no like.
But you have to like go around one car that decided that it was going to stay where it was, which like good luck with everybody spilling beer on it. But yeah, I'm excited. It's so much more. I mean, I did it. I was so nervous when we stood up to do that. I was like, all of these eyes are on us, and then there's like the tip of Tina's second floor that looks like a cage match, just like looking down on us, like where it was like Thunderdome. I was like, this is it. Either this or we're gonna get shot.
Everyone can see you. It's not like a parade where like you can follow the person in front of you, or like you're gonna move on. So like if you mess up really badly, you don't have to look at that person again.
Yeah, and everybody being in dance crews. That's why I was like, there was a very nice fraternity to dance crews that like I wasn't ready for, because people afterwards were so nice to come up.
So supportive.
So we're the new kids on the block. People could have easily just been like, just ignore this girl.
Like they were weirdos.
So many people were really. I mean, the Elvis were great. Like they came up and said, the Sassy Racks were very. We had somebody coming up all the time to tell us that they really loved it. And of course it's the Wednesday Ads dance that if people have seen the show, they really got it. And if people didn't see the show, we hope they still liked it.
Well, I think that dance went
viral
enough, to where
got it.
While I didn't see the Wednesday show, that I saw the dance 300 times on Facebook, TikTok,
that was kind of the intent, was to make something that felt very familiar to people. Could be like, oh, that's it.
And it like fits the vibe so well.
Yeah.
And because it was not a performance dance at all. Like it moved so much that there's just absolutely no way we could ever do it as a stationary thing. So it was just nice to be able to have something.
It's a very cool hype dance. It's a very cool hype song, and
it's a good hype song.
It's
very high energy.
The references, choreography references in it are like folkloric Balkan dance, I think he said when he was choreographing it. But it has all these like references in it that I hope people will think are very cool.
It's a unique dance.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
For me, that's a good thing. Like I love doing it, even though it's very exhausting.
Yeah. I don't want to hear anybody after the Sassy Rex performance at Blood Drive, which was intensely active. I was like, I don't hear anybody complain about how tired they are.
They don't report that.
I know they don't. But I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. I was panting. I was like, God, I'm so tired just like watching the thought. But yeah, we got a lot of inspiration.
I think we struggle with that though, is we make things harder than they should be with our dances. Like even with Goo Goo Muck, the stuff we added where it was supposed to be like Goo Goo Muck was supposed to be our song that's like the most chill, because like our things are just very high energy.
Yeah,
like even the thing we added is still high energy.
We're going for it. And also, we always have a coven moment in our choreography.
We always have a coven moment.
We always have a moment where we make some sort of circle.
It's circle level.
It's just it became a thing on accident, and now it's a thing.
We just
so
have a little coven
people look out for that.
Yeah.
So do y'all have interest in witchcraft or that?
So we talked about this because I was like, we can't say we're like a Wicca group because that's a religion. I was like, we can't. We don't want to we can't have voodoo dolls because that's a religion. Like, there's a pop culture element to all this stuff. But we walk the very fine line of like, we were talking about throws and like we were tossing around the ideas, and we were like, oh, we should do like little spell kits, and it's like, okay, but we can't just like throw some stuff together off of Etsy and be like, it's a spell kit, because people take that stuff seriously. So we don't, we want to be respectful of people that, so we joke that we have coven moments, we joke that we're a coven, but it's also like, those words are used, what's the word, opposite of religion that starts with an S? Secularly enough. Thank you. That like we're okay with these, but we have to we always are very okay, let's make sure that we're not.
You want to be respectful to.
I mean,
people's beliefs.
Yeah, people's and it has a lot of negative history behind both of those things that both of those religions had to overcome.
Right.
So we don't want to trivialize it in a way that makes it just a gimmick.
Yeah. We don't want it to be kitschy.
Yeah, we're fighting with the language because goth also people see a certain here.
But I also feel like
thing.
a lot of us, a decent amount of us, did grow up as like goth kids and are still like goth kids at all.
Yeah. Oh
So,
yeah, we're definitely like
that. Like
not
a lot of us are very much in that scene.
I think a lot. Every now and then I have these moments of awareness that I am not like other people sometimes. That I'm just like, oh no, I'm a little weird. I was watching some comedian talking about, he's like, do you ever like go to a party and you're in a party and like you have this out of body moment where you look in and you're like, you're a little much. What is wrong with this person? They're a little. I have those moments of awareness every now and then where I'm like, oh, that's not a normal thing that people say. That's not a normal way of people like. I'm so excited dressed like a possum. I'm like, why would I want to dress like a possum? Not a sexy possum, literally, So I think it's a group of those people who have like quirks and just we weren't told that it was not the way to be. We didn't care. We grew up in the circle that, the freak circles and the weird circles. And this is just finally those people as adults coming back together and being like, hey, remember these really great things? And we're all over the place. I wouldn't say like, everybody in the group is the same
We're
level.
not all like goth emo kids. Like
none
of us.
Yeah. And then we have members of all different ages, so they bond over different pop cultural things. That like I'm a big fan of like cultish movies that are John Waters movies and what was the other one I was talking about? I was talking about Grey Gardens, and one of our younger members is now I've given her a film club. That homework to do because she's like every now and then I make like this is the costume of the day and she's like what, and I'm like it's Grey Gardens, I need you to watch that for me, and she's like we didn't have film night. So there's all these sort of like people are all coming from different places, but I think we're all a little weird. What was your thing that you wrote for that's from Beetlejuice that you wrote for the
word strange and unusual?
What's the line for Beetlejuice?
Isn't that like I myself am
strange and unusual? I myself am strange and unusual, and I think that gets the point across. Because strange and unusual just exemplifies a lot of things.
We want people to embrace it.
And I think that we only have these number of members now, but there's definitely that group of people out there who like you would see on the street and not be like that person's a weirdo, and then they come to us, and then the weird comes out. Yeah, I have an aerial friend who. She does a lot of aerial and she's covered in tattoos and she does a lot of circus stuff, and she's like, she's seen me do like a couple of showcase pieces, and she's like, nobody would know just looking at you how weird you are. Because she's seen me like throw glitter at everybody and like pull things out of me and like do weird circus stuff during aerial performances and have these really very abstract pieces, and she's just like, nobody would know that looking at you. So I think that's a really cool thing about our group is that we have all these people come together that have just that little bit of weird quirkiness to them in some way, shape, or form that doesn't fit that mold necessarily. So yeah.
Well, I'm really excited for y'all. I know that it takes a lot of work to get a group together, and for y'all to y'all successfully put on your first performance, and it sounds like y'all have a handful coming our way.
Yeah, the parades are we're excited about the parades.
Very, very, very excited.
Awesome. Love the energy of a crowd that feeds that energy in you, and you're all adrenaline high until the end when you feel like you're about to die.
Yeah.
Such a great feeling.
I can sleep for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Last question for you. I know that a lot of the crews, they strive on the social aid aspect. We talked a couple times about the blood drive this weekend. Y'all have any other plans for social aid projects like that, or?
Right now, we don't. We did talk about it at our very first meeting, like what sort of things we would want to look into, but we just want to get established as a group first. But it is definitely something that we want to do.
Before we get the government involved in this sweet deal of becoming a 501c3, 50c3, whatever it is.
501c3.
But there's another one, right? there's like another version of being a nonprofit. But anyway, I'm sure that's really fun for your listeners. But we, yeah, I know everybody like, has a charitable thing that they. I mean, I think we had a group. We just get together and be like, what's the thing that we all can get behind?
It always typically stems from
That's
one
the
member's
Netherlands
kids in
Yeah.
children's hospital, for instance, or whatever. So
Yeah,
that becomes
We're all very
the pet
passionate.
project,
yeah. Well, I tell the history I tell people on the tours that I do is the whole idea of these benevolent societies were because people used to not be able, like insurance companies didn't want to cover people for dangerous jobs, and so all the people would get together and make their own groups, and the money that they paid to be a member went into a community trust that then funded emergencies that happened to people. And so it was this idea of like, well, these people aren't going to step up for us, so let's step up and do this for ourselves. And so that whole, people don't realize that when they visit out for Mardi Gras. They think Mardi Gras is just like spring break. And I'm like, no. All of these groups have to have some sort of fundraiser, have to have some sort of like, thing that they're associated with. We just haven't gone there yet. Yeah. So we just haven't gone there yet.
That's definitely part of the plan.
Yeah.
By y'all praying, I wasn't, didn't know if you had.
Yeah, why the fourth degree? Why are you
Get
rolling
yourself
it?
together.
Yeah, I think especially like there's enough of us that are sort of event planner type people that like doing fundraiser parties and things like that would probably happen very soon. So we'll see.
So do
Keep
you
going
any,
with it.
or y'all have any plans for any sort of public events where other people can join you? Maybe not yet.
No, I think we're just relying on the Instagram.
Yes.
For people to contact us through that, because part of the reason of doing all these events now is to get our names out there so people can kind of see what we're about and be like, I want to do that. Also, it's the kind of thing where people say I want to do that like 3 or 4 times before they actually go do it. Yeah, but we haven't. That meeting, the first meeting we hosted was at by Beer Garden, and it was literally just like, if you're interested, come. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick days to rehearse. We're going to talk about dues. We're going to talk about, kind of the theme and the idea. And here's the agenda. And if you want to stick around, stick around. So we probably will do something like that once a year. Has more and more people just to kind of cohesively come together and replan our mission and replan like our year. And then we did a swim party.
Yes, we had a
big
pool
pool
party.
parties.
Yes.
But we also have. Me and Jesse, who's also in the group, are talking about all these little great cabins that are in Mississippi that are not expensive to rent, like 5 bedrooms or something like that, to do sort of like a retreat once a year where we just like hang out, and bond like that. Like it can't be business all the time, and it can't be like practice all the time. So
Yeah, it's important to us to like enjoy each other as people and like.
there's no point in doing that.
If all you see her as is the person who's dancing next to you in the parade and not as a friend, then there's.
Well, and it's like every crew, all these people are coming from all these different walks of life, and they're of course going to kind of glom onto each other if they come from a similar, like if they're both moms or they're both like, I don't know, we're doctors or whatever. Like if they're you're going to kind of make these groups within groups, like, but. The idea is to have these sort of like retreat areas that allow people to connect with each other.
Absolutely.
Create that fraternal, sororial membership. Is there a word that combines those two? Yeah. We've got to make one. Mixed gender club. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. So anybody wants to join. It's not. It's right now. It's all women, but it doesn't have to be that way. Reach out.
I know some pretty guys.
Not that. Oh, that kind of creepy. Oh, okay. Yeah, weird. Yeah. I was like,
kind of creepy.
Different creepy.
Yeah.
The good creepy.
Yeah.
Tell me find us on
Spooky,
Instagram.
spooky. See, you should be spooky and like not worry about it. Cool. Well, thank you guys for having us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we haven't given an interview about this group before, so we've got a lot of editing ahead of you, I'm sure. But we wanted to give you enough to, middle together.
It was wonderful. So, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us. Yes.
I hope to see you with Funky Uptown Crew soon.
Absolutely.
We'll make that happen this year.
You'll definitely see us there. You'll see it for Midsummer Mardi Gras.
Awesome.
You know, we're at most of the parades.
Yeah. Where are you going to be for Midsummer? Do you know yet?
No, not
Just
cool.
somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just look out into the crowd. And
Right.
yell at us.
Yeah.
We'll look for our biggest fan.
So,
I'm sure you'll be able to find the goth chicks fairly easily.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It was funny at the blood drive because the group that was after us, who was that group after us? People thought we were.
Vixen.
Yeah, people thought we were in the same group.
Yeah,
because
because they were all
black
gothy.
leather.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we talked briefly about having like an amethyst purple as a color, which I'm really glad we did because that was their whole thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, we would have.
It would have been really awkward. Yeah, I think we're just gonna stick to black and metals.
Yeah.
Like metals, different colored metals. Alchemy, baby. I don't know. Some, but yeah. So people were like, "Were you there sub crew?" Or people were very confused. We are not in the same crew. We're not the same dance crew.
Yeah.
So, you know, come hit us up at the parade if you're like, "I want to be in the crew of the Crescent Crinum."
Absolutely. So, thank you so much. Signing out.
We'll have a banner.
We will have a banner
Hey.
at the parade.
All right.
We got that done.
Yeah, we will have our name up.
We worked hard for that.
So look for the banner.
Yes.
Signing out. We will see you on the route.